Saudi Arabia has amassed one of the largest and most well-funded influence operations in the US, pumping cash into think tanks and elite American universities across the nation. Saudi hired lobbyists give millions to influence US Congress because they broke and don't have money. They just goat herders living in caves. Saudi prosecutors said Jamal Khashoggi was killed, blah, blah, blah. The Saudis have poured money into lobbying for decades. This, according to Time magazine. What makes the US-Saudi relationship so special? Weapons, oil, and an army of lobbyists. Because again, they're broke, they don't have money, they're just Stone Age goat herders living in caves. Right, so guys, I'm going to end up, once I finish this set of slides, okay, I will finish this and we'll continue another day. US lobbyists continue working with Saudi Arabia after Khashoggi killing, and the lucrative relationship is unlikely to die anytime soon. That didn't faze them. The royal touch, the Saudi lobby juggernaut. And let's have a look. Diplomatic crisis spotlights Saudi Arabia's spending in Washington, lobbying firms, think tanks, and investors all coming under scrutiny over their ties to the Saudi kingdom. Khashoggi is shining a spotlight on how integral the country and its cash have become to Washington, with lobbying firms, think tanks, and investors. Don't forget universities. The Saudis have exerted influence in Washington for decades, millions on lobbying firms, high-powered members of the royal family to serve as ambassadors and social figures, and this story gets worse. The kingdom doled out cash to Washington think tanks such as the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the Emerson Collective, which has helped fund DC media organizations with links to Saudi Arabia. So they are influencing media with consultants. Saudi Arabian lobbyists have many friends in DC. Qatar is spending even more money than Saudi. Oh wow, okay, here we go. The Saudi government and its affiliates have spent millions of dollars on US law, lobby, and PR firms to raise the country's visibility in the US and before the United Nations. How much Saudi Arabia spends to influence public opinion in the US? So NPR's Mary-Louise Kelly talks with Lydia Dennett, investigator with the Project on Government Oversight, about how much Saudi Arabia spent in the US on lobbying and what the money has bought them. Khashoggi outcry may spur Saudis to step up their already powerful lobbying. Countries spend more when relationships sour in Washington. Saudi lobbying in the US has tripled since Trump took office. He was against them. He was shutting them down. Therefore, they spent more money. Saudi lobbying in the US tripled during Trump's first year in office. Okay, Saudis used incentives and threats to shut down the US investigation in Yemen. Threats is a normal, and you were exactly right, Thunderous. That's exactly what they do. Your thoughts before we just are going to wrap up shortly? Yeah.
I think for me to conclude on tonight's chat, I noticed in the comments that there's a lot of righteous indignation in the information. This wealth of information that you've provided has stirred a lot of righteous indignation by the listeners, and I dare say in the future when people are going to be watching this information that you've provided and collated, they will equally be righteously indignant in what they read. But for people who follow the biblical narrative, one has to bear in mind, I won't tell you what the scriptures are, people can look at them themselves, but Ecclesiastes 4:1 comes to mind, Jeremiah 10:23 comes to mind, Daniel 2:44 comes to mind. There's no other way to navigate ourselves out of this other than what we know is prophesied to come. But also at the same time, there are two other things one has to bear in mind, because what you're looking at is an insidious machination of how politics and money works. Somebody put in the comments earlier on about money being the root of all evil. The love of money, absolutely, because it's the love of money that's making people compromise themselves, their family, their country, and their own faith system as well, with something that is alien to what their own, if you like, belief system is. What I would say to people in the audience as well is just think of 1 John 5:19 and Revelation 12:9. What does that teach you about who the real puppet master is in all of this, and what is that agenda's end game?
Right. Yeah. Okay, so to finish this set of slides, and I'll call it a day. So a high-level Saudi visit follows multi-million-dollar foreign influence operation. They bought their way out of the Yemen debacle. I was on the air bases when they were doing that stuff. High-level Saudi visit follows the Biden administration. Oh my, the Biden administration officials hosted Saudi Arabia's Prince Khalid bin Salman they did not publicly disclose in advance comes on the heel of, oh my gosh, so President Joe Biden decided to not sanction the Saudi crown prince. Oh my golly. Prince Khalid met with the Secretary of Defense Colin Kahl. Oh wow, okay, Biden's in on the same game. Isn't that just a sheer coincidence? Saudi Arabia restored its US influence machine after the Khashoggi. Okay, so it looks like they moved from K Street to Main Street. Oh boy, so they're not just doing political lobbying, now they're lobbying your mind too. So they have community members across the US to peddle the best version of the kingdom. They've given its brand as an American as apple pie shine, which is a lie. Understand, these guys have bought Washington and now they're coming to buy you. Right, so Ishak says, Israel attacks in Egypt was published in the Times of Israel. Other than the title is called Israel says will lend a hand in Egypt's fight against Islam. I have no idea what that's about. Okay, so guys, this is the last slide. I'll end here tonight. House of Bush, House of Saud. And so this is a preview for what's coming. We're going to be talking about the strong Islamic and Saudi connections to the Bush family. 2 days after 9/11, US air traffic was tightly restricted. 140 Saudis, royals, and family of Osama bin Laden were permitted to leave and escape questioning by US intelligence. All the answers, everything needed to dismantle Osama bin Laden's organization can be found in Saudi Arabia. He didn't say Israel. So, this is from John O'Neill, an FBI counter-terror expert who died in the World Trade Center. Right, and there's plenty of evidence to Saudi Arabia. Now, in the 1970s, the oil-rich House of Saud began courting American politicians in a bid for military protection, influence, and investment opportunity. With the Bush family, the Saudis hit a gusher. Yep, they hit themselves a gusher with the Bush family. So guys, I'll stop here. Hopefully this has been enlightening, entertaining, and educational. Shall we do part 2? What is tomorrow, Saturday? Would you like to do another part on Sunday? Would you guys like part 2 on Sunday? Just drop a 1 in the chat if you like part 2 on Sunday. Otherwise, I'll tackle this another time. Yes, okay. So just drop a 1, guys. And I'll do part 2. Yes, excellent. So I guess I'll speak with Thunderous. So same time on Sunday. Thanks, guys. So I'll give it a 1-2 then. So guys, on Sunday, same time, I will continue with this. And we'll start discussing the connections to the Bush family. We'll go into the Clintons. We'll go into how they are manipulating universities.